Hi class, I miss you guys. I'm excited to read what you guys have written so far about your Pieces of History project. I know who you all have chosen, so, and I know you guys have finished your first body paragraph, so I'm really excited to read those. Thanks for sending them in. If you haven't sent them already, today's the day to do it, Thursday. For the next week, remember how I changed the homework last week and had you cut off some of the days, the IEW days? Well, we're going to do those this week. Plus, we're going to start week 27. So this week, it's all about finishing week 26, lesson 26, and starting lesson 27. And the main goal is to finish writing paragraphs B and paragraphs C. So you have your introduction, which you're going to write next week. You have your body paragraph A, which you wrote last week. This week you're going to work on body paragraph B, body paragraph C, and then we'll do the conclusion next week. So this is the big chunk you're going to work on. Writing body paragraphs B and C. That's your goal. How you're going to get that done, as usual, is listed in your bookmark. Your bookmark this week does look a little weird. Because I couldn't just say do IEW day this, this, and this, because we're doing like the second half of this and then the first half of that. I wrote it as Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on your checklist. You don't necessarily have to do that certain work on Friday and that certain work on Monday, but it's the suggestion, and that is the days, the chunks of work that I want you to do. So it'll say like Friday, and then in parentheses, IEW lesson 26, day 3. Remember, that's the one you skipped last week. So it'll tell you what day it is for you, and then which IEW day to work on. Hopefully it's not too confusing, because obviously it's not as straightforward as just doing one lesson in the book. It's two halves of two different lessons. But you guys can do it. Your goal, remember, as I said, to write those 2 body paragraphs. So you'll also be doing your bibliography this week. And you've written bibliographies before. Some of you nailed it. You've done it before. You know how to do it. Some of you have only done it the one time. We did it for whatever other research essay. I don't remember what our topic was. Richard the Lionheart. Some of you guys wrote your first bibliography for the Richard the Lionheart assignment, and you struggled and you had a lot of corrections that you had to do. So this week, I'm actually attaching in your homework, again, the bibliography page that tells you how to cite different types of sources. At least 3 different types of sources: books, encyclopedias, and internet sites. And then sometimes we're using an internet encyclopedia and you kind of have to combine those 2 ideas. So I'm resending you guys that, so you'll be able to do your bibliography just fine. Mystery of History will be really easy to cite. And then the different internet sites you use, you'll be able to say, I think this is an encyclopedia, an online encyclopedia. I know how to do that because it's on my paper. Or you're like, this is a website and I'm really not sure how to cite it. I also am including a link in the intro page that will come with your homework. And the link is to the Purdue OWL site, and there's a big long list of all the different kinds of sources and how to cite them. So you can look through that list. But there's also, at the very top of that page, there's a bar that says, oh, we'll try to cite it for you. Purdue OWL will try to cite it for you using an internet algorithm. So if you just copy and paste the link from where you found your source and try to put it in there, it might tell you exactly how to cite it. You can use that. Feel free to use it. You'll have to, kind of read what it says and then copy it down into your paper and order it in alphabetical order. But that will be a good resource for you. So when you're writing your bibliography on day, I think I have it called Wednesday. When you're writing your bibliography, first step is check this paper to see how to format it. Second step, go to that link and see if that internet site, Purdue OWL, will help you cite your source. And if you're still stuck and you still feel like, I don't think I did this right, then go ahead and text me, call me, or email me, and I'll try to help you get straightened out. Some of you guys did call me or email me this week with some quick questions, and I was able to just answer them really quickly and clear it up. And that's going to reflect better on your homework because you did that. So I'm all for that. I like it. I like hearing from you guys. So that's bibliography. There's another topic, I think I'll wait till later to talk about it, that's kind of connected with this idea of your bibliography. It's actually connected more with you just using sources and gaining information from sources. So let's just talk about those two body paragraphs. You've already written number A, and I hope that that wasn't a big struggle for you. I hope you were able to pick a topic really easily and you found lots of information to help me explain or help me understand that topic better. I hope in your topic sentence that you made a claim. I'm going to be looking for that while I grade them. We're going to have time on this project to make corrections before you submit a final draft, which is really cool. We don't always have that, and I think it's a very useful thing to have lots of different proofreaders help you make great work. So I'll be very excited to read whatever you put out for topic A. But as you move on to topics B and C, whatever you guys already chose for those topics, I wanted to give you guys some hints of kind of how I would go through the process of researching, collecting information, asking questions. That I wanted to kind of spell that out for you. We've talked about it before, but now that you're in the middle of the process, if you feel overwhelmed or if you feel like, wow, there's really not that much information, or all the information I have doesn't even really go together, I just kind of want to run through how I would go about doing the research and writing the paragraph. So, you know your topic. In fact, let's do an example. For this example, I'm going to pretend that I'm writing an essay, a 5-paragraph Faces of History essay about King David. It doesn't fit with our medieval theme, but he was a king, and I think it's someone you're probably pretty familiar with. So say I'm writing about King David, and so I would first step check out my sources. Now this is pretty easy. I would first step go to the Bible. There's other sources I could use, but that would be probably the first place I would look. And I would go to 1 Samuel, and I would probably start scanning, and probably move on to 2 Samuel, and I would just start scanning what's going on in David's life. And be making notes in the corner with sticky notes or with my pencil. I'd be making notes, this happened, then this happened, ooh, this is an interesting feature. And I would make little notes about what kind of person King David was. And then after I had those notes, I'd look over them for topics. I would say, okay, what are some like big ideas here? And the ones I kind of brainstormed for, the ones I thought would be interesting topics that would help you guys learn more about King David, is I would talk about, let's see, what did I write down? Oh, his character. What was David's character like as a child? And I'm forming that in a question, but as a topic I would just say David's character in his youth. That would be an interesting topic. What was David like in his youth? My second topic, I would say his rise to power. And then as a question, I'd probably phrase that as, how did David become a king? And then my third one was his kingship. And that was like, what was his reign like? So those are my 3 topics: his youth and character, youth/character. Second topic was his rise to be a king. And the third topic was his kingship. So I have all those topics. Great. What's the next step after you've chosen your topics? For me, the next step would be to start asking questions. So I would write my first topic, David's youth/character. And I would say, what kind of person was David? Question mark. What kind of person was David? What did he like to do? What was his job? What was his character like? And then I would think a little bit deeper. I'd be like, okay, that was what his character was like. He was brave and strong and obedient for the most part. He wasn't very obedient to his brothers all the time. Okay, okay. Why was he like that? What made him this way? So I'd write those questions down, and then I would go back to my source. I'd open back up to 1 Samuel, and I'd read carefully through and try to write down those answers as I went. I'd be like, oh, David was brave because he had faith in God to take care of him. And there's a verse that actually says that. That was why David was able to be brave. And that's what my paragraph would end up being about. Once I actually sat down, after I took those notes, I would take the notes that I was writing, that my answers to my questions. You guys are doing keyword outlines, and I'm all for that. It's not the way I would do it just because I learned it differently. I would do more of a question and answer type of outline, which you're free to do if you want for the first step. When you're actually writing like your outline, your fused outline, do it as a keyword outline. But when you're doing your research, I don't mind if you do other kinds of note taking. When you're trying to find information, I kind of like the question answer type of outline where I write out a bunch of questions that I thought of for my topic, and then I read my sources and add the answers. And that's probably what I would do for that first set of outline notes. And then I would take those notes and put them into my fused outline. Then I would write my paragraph. And my paragraph would probably end up being describing what David was like. That he killed the lion, killed the bear. That shows that he was brave. That's something that he was like. He obeyed, or he had faith to fight Goliath because he believed God would fight the battle for him. That tells me that he had faith. So I learned when I wanted to write my topic, which was David's character in youth. I would write about his character in his youth, and then I'd realize, okay, so my topic was his character in youth, but my topic sentence needs to make a statement. What did I learn while I was writing all of that about how he fought the lion, fought the bear, fought Goliath, and had his faith in God's power to fight for him, to win the battle against Goliath? I learned David was a brave youth because of his faith, period. That would be my topic sentence. My topic, his character, would be included there. David was brave, that's the description of his character, in his youth, because he had faith in God. And then I would give my examples. So that is just a quick overview of how I would go about doing the research for a project like Faces of History. I would choose my topic, ask a bunch of questions to help me think through that topic, and you guys have a list of questions, leading questions, to help that process in your notes and in your folders. I would find the answers from the source, whatever sources I chose. Then I would write my fused outline and write my paragraph. So if you feel stuck, go for it. Ask yourself some questions to get your creative juices flowing. I hope that helps you with your writing process, because the questions that you come up with are probably the same types of questions that I would come up with if you told me that you were going to write about a certain character. And so when you get those questions answered for me, I find that essay really interesting and it grabs my attention. So you guys can do that. I believe in you. I think you're going to do a great job with that. I have a grumpy baby upstairs, so sorry if he's crying sometimes. Last time we did a video, he was sleeping, but today he's kind of grumpy. So we talked about bibliography. We talked about what goes in your paragraph and kind of how to do that research process. The final thing I wanted to talk about was your flow challenge. So we have bonus points on your checklist. Remember, we talked about this last week. And one of the bonus points is for flow, how one idea flows into the next. One sentence flows into the next. Your ideas are connected. So one of the ways that you can do this is we're going to call them in-text citations. That's what they are. We're calling them that because that's their name. So an in-text citation, meaning that when you write your bibliography, these are kind of citations. You're pointing to your source. That's what a citation is. It's when you point your audience to the source of your information. So this is like an after-text citation. Your bibliography happens after you've written your actual essay. The text is over, now it's the bibliography. But I think it would be also really helpful to your essay if you included some in-text citations. So this boils down to something really simple. I would just like you to try giving credit to the authors of your sources while you write. This isn't going to be every sentence. You're not going to be telling every sentence being like, oh, by the way, this information came from source Mystery of History by Linda Hobar, or 1 Samuel chapter 17. You don't have to say that in every single sentence, but somewhere in your essay, I would love to see you mention your source right in the essay. So this usually comes in the form of like a clausal opener. So at the beginning of a sentence, you might write something like, according to 1 Samuel 17, comma, David went and fought Goliath. Or for Mystery of History, you might say like, Hobar states, and you could even put a quote straight from the Mystery of History book. Or I think it's Hobar. whoever wrote the Mystery of History book you have, that's the name you should use. Or Wikipedia even. Wikipedia, according to the article on Wikipedia, comma, I'm trying not to give away any of your stuff, King David ruled from this year to this year. That's what I'm talking about when I say in-text citations. Announce every once in a while where your information came from. This is going to help your essay have flow, and it's also going to make me feel like you are a credible source of information. When I read your essay, I'm going to be like, hey, they really did their research. They're proving it here by telling me where they found this kind of information. So I'm expecting this maybe once or twice in your essay, that you mention where your information came from. Put it in where it feels right, where you really want to point out, hey, this is an interesting fact that I found in this really interesting source. This is not a requirement. This is part of the bonus points under flow. But I think that it will actually help you write. It'll kind of help your mind organize your thoughts. So that's almost all I have for you guys today. We talked about bibliography, which you're going to be completing. We talked about how you're going to come up with ideas and information for your paragraphs. And we talked about the flow challenge, which would be inserting some in-text citations. Homework alerts, we talked about that too. Your days are organized by Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then next to that tells you what IEW day we're going to be doing, which is confusing because we're skipping around a lot. You're not going to just like progress evenly. You'll have to actually pay attention to each day what you're supposed to do. Basically though, as long as at the end of the day or at the end of the week you turn in to me 2 great paragraphs covering your second and third topic, I'll be very happy. So don't get too caught up with figuring out exactly which days to do as long as you get those main things done. I think you guys are going to do a great job with that. I had a little shout out for Ava. You did some really good flow on some of your homework. I know we're all turning in kind of random parts, but on your chivalry essay, I really appreciated that you added flow in a creative way by connecting 2 of your topics together. So I think you talked about, I don't remember what the first topic was, maybe it was perseverance or loyalty or something, and it was good. Then the second topic, the second paragraph, you talked about love and how that would be a good element of chivalry. And then your third topic, you talked about respect. And right away, when you started talking about respect, you connected it to the idea of love, because we already understood how love connects with chivalry. Then you said, basically, this is not a direct quote, but you said, in order to show love, you need to have respect. And that was a really cool way to put flow into your essay. You were connecting one paragraph to the next one, and that worked out really well. I liked it. I'd love to see you guys do more cohesive, flowing writing. So I'm proud of you all. I miss you all. Thank you so much for sending all the homework that you did last week. I will get that back to you today. I loved reading it, and I'm sorry if there's a lot of marking on it. I was able to type, which made me even like, oh, I can put even more information here and just make the text really small. But I hope my corrections are helpful. They're not meant to be critical. They're meant to be helpful so that next time you write, you can fix any problems that you had. So I hope that your hearts will be calm to read that, because I know I come across as ultra critical. But I really do love your writing, and I love you guys. I hope you guys have a really good week. Hopefully we'll get to talk on Friday. Bye.